had, clients and people messaging me like, is this true? Is walking a waste of my time? I'm like, oh my God.
There's also, it's good for your bone density. It's good for your mood
Yeah.
enhancement. There's a lot of benefits. And I think that like walking, it's funny because when people ask me what I think the best exercise is, I say walking is the best exercise. Whenever I talk to people and I say that I'm like, I love cardio because it's actually good for my mental health more than anything.
Yes.
Like, it's great for like the focus, my being more alert. It actually makes me more productive the rest of the day. I can go on and on. People are like, well, you really shouldn't be spending that much time with the cardio. You should be doing the strength training. And I'm like, yes, but it doesn't give me the same dopamine that I need and my endorphins.
Exercise, yes, is a stress. It's normal. Like some things that are stresses are actually good stresses, but people hate on it too much. I think both should be included in your life.
I stumbled upon you by accident, obviously, like everybody does on social media. And
yeah,
I swear, I started like sending your videos to like all of my friends and like sharing them with everyone because you're so freaking hilarious. I love you. And like all you do is just like drop F-bombs. Boom, boom, boom. Like F this, fuck that, this, fuck. Like and it's done like every video. Like within the first 4 words, you say like fuck this or fuck that. It's just so funny. And everything you say, I agree with.
I love that. I mean, swearing, I swear it's in my DNA. I was born in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And I swear I've been swearing since I came out of my mother's womb. I worked in the bar industry for years. So you can imagine, it comes with the territory, basically.
Oh, yes, but you're just hysterical. I'm like, where did she come from? Like one day, I don't know who you are. I guess you know what happens with the algorithm, right? Because it's like,
yeah.
I don't know anything about you. And the next thing you know, because I guess I shared so many of your things, like you're the first person that pops up in all of in my feed all the time now.
That's fun. I love that.
No, it's amazing. I mean, by the way, Beth, we're going to go right. Like, we're just going to talk. I mean, I'll do it like the intro because I find that this stuff is like the most interesting with people too, right? Like, I want to, I want you to tell everyone. So this is Beth. How you, like, what your story is, like, besides being, well, by the way, what do you call yourself? Are you like a health influencer, a fitness, social media influencer? What do you call yourself?
I call myself a strength and nutrition coach and a mindset coach. I actually used to train in person as a personal trainer inside of the gym. And then transferred online when COVID happened. That's like a long story. But actually, I love that you interviewed Jordan Syatt because he's my biggest mentor. In fact, a lot of my journey started with Jordan. I've been in his inner circle. I've been in his personal trainer mentorship with him. And actually, how I got started really on social media was because of Jordan.
Really?
He gave us during our mentorship program that happened like I started it in 2020. So literally got thrown in. The gym got shut down. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go online and start working with Jordan and Mike Bacante. And so there was a TikTok challenge, right? Let's post on TikTok every day for 30 days. And I'm like, fuck this. Like, are you serious? Like TikTok, my stepdaughter was on it and it was like dancing and stuff. I'm like, this is going to be interesting. So I did it. And one of my videos went viral and I'm like, all right. And I have not stopped. And it's been like 4 years. So I went from like, in person, never went back to the gym after that. And then grew my online business.
Wow. Okay. So which video went viral, by the way?
Gosh, it was was it 2021? It was like, it was a lot of F-bombs. I think it was the first video that I was like,
shocking.
You know what? I just don't I'm going to try to be myself because, you're trying to figure out who you are on social media. It's like, do I swear like I normally do? And it started being weird not swearing because that's just me. So holding shit back, I felt like my content wasn't really authentic. And so when I let it all out, that's when it was, okay, this works for me because it's me,
Absolutely.
But I think it was like, you don't need to fucking eat 1,200 calories. You don't need to starve yourself. It was like all these things you shouldn't be doing in order to lose fat, and people lost it.
Well, also that's what your content is, right? Like, it's funny. Yeah. It's funny that you said Jordan, because the way I would describe you is like, you kind of remind me as a female version of him.
Like, I've heard that. Yeah.
Like so much, because that's what he does, like even like the walking video, that you did and then he did, like everyone's, you know what I mean? Because just in the way you just describe it. And funnily enough, also, before you came on here, I just interviewed Dr. Ids. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Dr. I say Dr. IDZ.
IDZ, that's what I say too.
Yeah. He's one of a person that I met on social media in the TikTok early days. We became friends in like 2020. It's cool to see his growth as well. Like to see him have a book now. My God. That's amazing.
And he's really good too. And I think what's happening is it's like this fear mongering, like, because like why I'm so happy to see you thrive and see him thrive, and why I like Jordan stuff is because I have a really big problem with how people typically get well known within social media is about fear mongering. They stick to something and they hard press it. And just because they're good at reiterating something over and over again in a loud way doesn't make it right. And so I like to see these people like you who are now like doing the opposite.
Yeah. Cutting through the bullshit.
Cutting through the bullshit.
It's because fear sells.
Fear does sell, but apparently so does this other, the anti-fear is also selling. Like, look at there's not many of you, but it's happening more and more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
That
is true.
So can you tell me a little bit about how you got to this place? You said that with COVID and everything, you ended up getting online, but were you a personal trainer full time at a gym or?
Yep, I worked, excuse me, so the way I started at the gym, I swallowed my water wrong, of course. Hold on one second.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So, I'm like spitting all over myself.
That's okay.
What a mess. Anyway, so I started actually going to the gym as a client. And from there, they were looking for a front desk person. And so I'm like, perfect. My son's about to go to preschool. I'll start, working at the front desk. And then the owner was like, I feel like you'd be a really good trainer. Do you want to start interning here? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be amazing. So at that same time, I found Jordan on social media. He was like the one person I could relate to. And I started actually working with him through the inner circle and kind of learning about nutrition. I was going through my own fat loss journey. And one thing I did notice from going to the gym and taking these classes where the women were going through the same thing as me. They were working really fucking hard, but they weren't seeing any difference. And they kept saying, I don't understand what's going on, and I'm thinking, okay, what I'm learning right now is like nutrition, right? So I decided to get certified in nutrition first. So I did that. And then I became a personal trainer as I was interning. So that's really how it started there. I was there about 5 years before I ventured online.
Oh, wow. So you were doing nutrition first, actually.
Yeah, nutrition's my first love, really. If you notice, I don't do much like weight training content. I'd rather follow a program than write one.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So nutrition and mindset and like behavior change is what I love.
Yeah, and you're good at it. So what was your fat loss journey? How much weight did you lose to even like go through that? Like, what was your path?
I lost about 50 pounds and I've kept it off since 2018. Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot. And so, do you want to just tell people, like, so I can say it, but be more better if you say it. But so your whole thing is like not to be extreme in any one way, right? Like all this nonsense, like your videos, I think are like, that's what I love about it, because it really does cut through the bullshit, like you said, and people are so extreme oriented, and it's like completely unnecessary. So can you what kind of feedback or what kind of stuff do you, when you started to do this and you went viral and all the other stuff, was there any particular thing that you thought that people really kind of like started to ask you the most about? Was it like particular trends that happen on social media? Was it like one thing, or do you find that these things are constantly like people glom on to, let's say, the gut health, or microbiome, or sugar, blood sugar spikes? Like, what do you see? How do you kind of talk about that stuff a bit?
I think what I see, yeah, I do notice the trends with like in the beginning when I started TikTok in 2020, a lot of it was like carbs. People were afraid of carbs and they were afraid of fruit. All these things. And I'm like, are these people, what the fuck is going on here? These people are like literally afraid to eat a banana. I'm like, some people are like potatoes, haven't had one in like a year. I'm like, you haven't had a potato? It's like one of the most nutrient dense foods, low calorie. But they're afraid, like literally afraid of eating these things because of these fad diets. So there's always these extremes of like black and white thinking, like give up everything and then they end up like binging. So there's a lot of like restrict and binge, calling food good and bad. I notice a lot of that going on social media. It's still, as much as I talk about it, I'm like, I can't believe this still is out there. There's so many people that still believe this stuff. Like it's consistent. It's crazy.
So you never struggled with that stuff? Like that's my question.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So my thing was, I mean, I was an alcoholic. I've been sober for 9 years. So that's really what got me back into the fitness. So it was me quitting drinking. So throughout my alcoholism, I would do like juice cleanses. I would do these crazy diets mixed with my alcoholism. Like I would, to try to quit drinking, I would do like paleo for 30 days or do the whole 30 because it would give me a time where I had to give up alcohol. Or I've done the master cleanse, 14 days of fasting. Yeah.
Like no food?
No food, just water, cayenne pepper, lemon juice, and maple syrup.
Oh, you did that one for 14 days.
Yes. 14 days. Yes.
That's a long time for that one.
Very. Yeah. I can't believe it when I think about it. I'm like, wow. So I had a lot of disordered eating. I would give my husband shit because he was eating ice cream. But meanwhile, I just downed a bottle of wine. But I'm juicing the next day. So health, you know?
Yeah.
So I was the biggest hypocrite. So, you know, I had to learn how to heal my relationship with food. And I kind of did that actually through posting on social media, and kind of helping other people was kind of helping me at the same time. It's like I was kind of going through it in the beginning of 2020, you know, and then I would do these candy challenges in October that was like, okay, let's have a piece of candy with every single meal. Make sure you track it because usually people go crazy on the Halloween candy and then they binge it, right?
Yeah.
So the longer you track it, have one with every meal. And by the end of this month, you're not going to want any. And it's so true. I did that and I was like, I can't even deal with this candy anymore. I don't want candy. It's like exposure therapy.
Yeah, it is a totally exposure therapy. And the funny thing is, that's why they say when you deprive yourself, I mean, it happens with me. Like if I don't eat something and I deprive myself for too long, I end up thinking about it incessantly.
Yes.
Right. And then I'll end up eating it, but I'll eat like an exorbitant amount of it. Like I'll have 3 pizzas, like literally 3 pizzas.
Right.
Because I've now created this whole story around the pizza.
Yeah. Like the pizza's bad. I can't have the pizza. And then you're like thinking about, God, but I really want pizza. Or you'll have things that are like, instead of pizza, like making your own healthified version of pizza, but that never satisfies you. So you're like, I'll end up eating it anyway.
That is actually exactly what the neuroses would be. Like for the first few days or a week, I would eat all these alternatives to what the actual thing is that I really wanted and never be satisfied. And then, but also be thinking about it constantly.
Yeah.
And then finally eating it, but eating, like I said, 10 times the amount that I would have to. So how did you like actually get over that type of disordered eating? Because, you know, like I find like you can get better, but it's really hard to like eliminate that thought pattern. I find, you know, like how do you tell people what they can do, or how did you do it in a real way?
You know, when you think about it, diet culture is so ingrained in us, right? It really comes down to unlearning and relearning so many things. And I'm still like unlearning shit that I grew up with my mom, who was a habitual dieter, like Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, you know, she did everything. And I grew up around that. So it's
how old are you, Beth? Because
like,
that's probably around my age group. Like
I'm 51.
Oh, you're 51. You look fantastic.
Thank you. Yep, 51. Crazy. I can't believe it myself.
Well, you look like you're 31. And you said an alcoholic also?
Yep. I drank for 20 plus years. In fact, you live in LA, right?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I worked at the Ye Rustic Inn in Los Feliz for 5 straight years. I was one of the top bartenders there 5 days a week. I don't know if you're familiar with that place.
No, I don't know Las Feliz that well. I'm more on the west side, but I know that,
Okay.
yeah. So you were there for that long. So basically, though,
Yeah.
when you, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'll get right
It's
back
okay.
to, I'm gonna remember, I'm making a note to where you're talking about the
Yeah.
diet culture, but I wanted
Yep.
to ask you about that. So, because when you said, when your mom was dieting all the time, and you
Mm-hmm.
said Jenny Craig and all that, I'm like, oh my God, that sounds very similar to like my era. That's why I wanted to ask you about your age. And then
Yeah.
so you were, how many kids do you have? Two?
I have
One?
one. I have one. I have a son and a stepdaughter.
Oh, okay.
12-year-old son and a stepdaughter. Yeah.
And okay, so were you like a real like a functional alcoholic, or were you like a really bad like how bad were you?
I would say, gosh, functional alcoholic until it wasn't.
Mm,
So the drawing board, my whatever you want to call it, rock bottom
right.
was in 2015. It was my anniversary with my husband, and I was at like a family barbecue. I had the two kids with me. My husband was working, and I decided to drive home on a half bottle of wine.
Right.
I don't remember. The two kids were in the car. It was just me and them. Get home. I puked. My husband ended up coming home and was so fucking pissed at me. I could have killed the kids, could have killed myself, could have killed someone else. And that day, I'm like, I need to stop. And before that, I knew I needed to stop. I just couldn't do it on my own. And that's why I would do those crazy diets, as well as my, like, okay, I get to stop drinking. It was that hard for me to quit. And I decided there was an AA meeting down the street for me, and I walked in that AA meeting the next day and went every day for a year.
Wow. And
Yeah.
so wow. So that's how you became sober. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Hardest thing I've ever done. I mean, it's one of those things I thought about for years, tried, and it's like, it comes to a point where if you don't, like, you're one decision away from a totally different life. And I felt that in my soul. I was like, if I don't do something, I'm going to die, or someone else is going to die. I'm going to end up in jail. So,
And then
yeah.
and so that's how you found this new nutrition and fitness and
Yep.
health and well. So did you? Because a lot of people I know who had that addiction, they actually just replaced it with a healthier addiction, which would be
Mm-hmm.
fitness or
Yeah.
whatever it would be. But it
Yeah.
seems to me that you are pretty balanced. That's why I was curious. Like,
Yeah.
were you did you replace it for a bit with an
I,
addictive personality?
I, yeah, I did actually with running. So as I quit drinking, I met a girl, Allison. She got me into running. So I was like, wow, this is fucking hard, but it's like, it's giving me that runner's high. It was kind of like replacing,
Right.
I would be like, all right, let's run like 3 miles. And then, going from 0 to 160, right? I would get shin splints, plantar
Yeah.
fasciitis.
Yeah.
I started enrolling in races. And so running was my thing until, I was beating myself to the ground with it, getting injured. And that's kind of the same time I started hybrid fitness coaching and things like that. And then I kind of learned like, okay, this is really healthy for me. I think I'm
Yeah.
doing this a little bit too much here because I'm trying to, build muscle and all this stuff. It's like you can't run yourself to the ground, try to build muscle, change your body, and do all this crazy shit. It doesn't have to be that way. So I learned through trial and error and my own, facing my own shit, what works and what doesn't. So it's kind of like walking through it like everyone else. I'm just like everyone else trying to do this, except I'm a little bit of ahead of a lot of people right now.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that's where we kind of where I interrupted you. You were
Yeah.
saying how you kind of were able to find this like balance because it's very, very hard. People become,
Mm-hmm.
it's like that rumination about food and how much you're eating. No, don't eat this. You can't eat that. Restrict that. How were you
Mm-hmm.
able to kind of, and how did you unlearn those behaviors? You were saying about your mom and when she was dieting all the
Yeah.
time.
I think for me, this worked for me. This may not work for everybody, but for me, tracking my calories and starting to become aware of what foods made me feel good, that I can actually lose fat eating anything that I wanted, which I didn't really fathom before because I didn't understand. It's like, oh, that's bad. That makes me gain weight. No, it's actually because of the calories. It has nothing to do with the actual, whatever food it is. It's just, I was eating too much rice, too much avocado, too much healthy food. You can gain weight. It's just calories. So that tracking calories and seeing with my own eyes and seeing, results, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I can actually eat anything, but obviously not, within moderation, and still be healthy and still lose fat and maintain my weight.
It's interesting,
So
that tracking your food is the game changer for sure.
it really is. It
Yeah.
really is. If you've never done it, I suggest doing it for like 30 days because I'm like, when Jordan, he was like, let's try tracking calories and weighing and measuring your food. I'm like, weighing and measuring your food.
Right.
I was like, what? And then I started doing it. It started working. I'm like, how come no one told me this before? Like, if someone was to tell me something worked and I was like, I don't know if I could do that. I mean, do you really want to see your goals then? I don't know. It's just, I try it, right?
Yeah. Well, I just think it's something that we tend to underestimate everything we put in our mouth for sure.
Yeah.
We overestimate how many calories we're actually burning when we work out. Those are the two things that I've noticed, right? Like you think you're burning more calories than you actually are when you're working out, and you're actually eating much more than you actually think. Like I thought my breakfast for the longest time was like for sure under 350 calories. And then when I actually counted all the things, like, oh, but I forgot about the cheese, and I forgot about the half and half, and I forgot about this. It was like at 600. It was like literally double what I thought I was having. But
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, and I feel that that's what people do, and you can 100% gain weight on healthy food because you think, oh, it's only avocado. I can have like 4,000 calories of it because you don't think that it would be that much.
Yeah. Or your coffee. It could be your cream in your coffee every day. If you're having like a fucking Baskin Robbins, amount of calorie coffee, which some people will go to Dunkin' Donuts, not even think.
Yeah.
They're eating a 400 calorie iced coffee, and they're not tracking it.
No, I know.
You know.
Are you still tracking your food then, or not really? Or you kind of are over that?
Currently I'm in a fat loss phase because I went through a like 2-year maintenance bulk, like lifting heavy shit. So now I want to expose the muscle that I've built. But I'm mindful eating.
You really
but
are.
I do love tracking though. I will, intermittently like see where I'm at. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Just to check in with myself, but it's not like a all the time thing.
Do you, okay, so I was going to actually ask you something else, but what do you think of like intermittent fasting? Are you a fan or not a fan?
No, I'm not a fan. People ask me that question all the time. It's interesting.
'Cause it's a fat, it's right now because it's super fat. It's like everyone's talking about it, right?
Yeah,
That's why.
it's like you don't have to starve yourself or not skip a meal in order to lose fat. Like I find people will end up binging at night because they skip that morning meal, and it does them disservice by doing that. It's harder to get your protein in also. So I'm not a big fan. I know it does work for some people. Like if you're a shift worker, that might work for you, but it doesn't work for a lot of people. And it's actually something that you don't have to do.
So there's all that theory on like autophagy, right? Like your body, if the longer you don't eat, it gives your body a chance to repair itself, and autophagy and all these things.
And it happens in your sleep though, too.
It does actually happen in your sleep. That's what I say. I also think it's just another fancy way of calorie restricting is what I believe.
Yeah.
And I think most people are like, they bullshit themselves. Oh, no, that's not what I'm doing. But majority of people who are doing it's because they want to figure out a way to eat less calories. But, because it's such a fad and everyone was talking about it. Have you tried it? Did you try it for a period of time and see? You did? Okay. Yeah. And like, you didn't see any.
I was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, I couldn't. First of all, I love breakfast and I love dinner.
I love breakfast. Yes, me too. Breakfast is like my best fun meal of the day. I get the most protein then. It starts your day off right.
What's your take on cardio versus strength training?
I think both should be included in your life. I don't know why so many people hate on cardio.
I know.
You know what I mean? I love cardio. I'm a runner, but I also strength train. I know how important it is. I also know what my body looks like through strength training. So, and also I'm 51. I want to maintain the muscle that I have and make sure that I don't lose any more. So it's super important for us ladies. I think people hate on cardio too much. And this whole like, oh my God, what is it they say about the cardio that it does to you? Like your stress, your cortisol.
Yes.
It's like, shut the fuck up. Oh my God, like seriously, cortisol is a stress hormone. Exercise, yes, is a stress. It's normal. Like some things that are stresses are actually good stresses, but people hate on it too much. I think both should be included in your life. For
It
sure.
should be. I know. It's funny that
Yeah.
you say that because whenever I talk to people and I say that I'm like, I love cardio because it's actually good for my mental health more than anything. Like,
Yes.
it's great for like the focus, my being more alert. It actually makes me more productive the rest of the day. I can go on and on. People are like, well, you really shouldn't be spending that much time with the cardio. You should be doing the strength training. And I'm like, yes, but it doesn't give me the same dopamine that I need, and my endorphins don't go as well. Like it doesn't happen as easily for me.
Yeah.
And people are just like mortified. God forbid.
Yeah.
It's that's I find so interesting. We're living in a time when if someone doesn't agree with somebody else, it is blasphemy. Like people cannot have a conversation unless, like, I thought like you and you thought like me, we wouldn't be able to be friends unless we
Right.
thought exactly the same way. It's like a terrible, like, I don't like how our society has become this way,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's,
I mean, why do we want to agree with everyone?
no, I mean, exactly. I don't know. That's why I'm saying exactly. I definitely don't,
But
that's
yeah,
not,
it's either this or that, right?
Right.
It's like, oh no, you're wrong and you're right. It's like, no, why can't we have a mixture of both?
exactly. You can, two things can be true at the same time too.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So how do you get your ideas for your funny content? Like, is it, because it seems you post a lot, and are you doing everything yourself? And are you finding the content? Like, how are you doing it?
I post everything on my little iPhone, the same that I did in 2020. I don't edit them. All me in my house, my kitchen, or in my car. And I get a lot of my ideas from the comment section or my coach's clients, like what's going on in, our client scene, like what is someone struggling with, my Facebook group. They usually like off the cuff. I don't plan anything. So it's usually every day I'm like, all right, what's going on? What do people need help with right now? And then, I'll make a video on that. Or I get sent a lot of videos like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And so if it's something worth, stitching, I'll do that too.
Yeah. What video, the one that walking one is the one I remember the most right now. Because,
Yeah.
that to me was the number one exercise of all time, I thought, right?
Yeah. I got tagged in that video on TikTok and Instagram for a few days before I did anything because Gabrielle and what's his name?
Ed Milet.
Ed Milet. They're pretty big people, and I actually liked Ed Milet. I feel like he's a good person. I don't know, but the way they said that just pissed me the fuck off. And I had clients and people messaging me like, is this true? Is walking a waste of my time? I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I work with general population people that just want to get their healthy and get moving. And some of them maybe have mobility issues and the only thing they can do is walking. And some people may, be very overweight and the only thing they can do is start walking. So it's like, why are we shaming people or making people feel less than because they're not fucking broing out in the gym like you are? I think everyone should start somewhere, and walking is the easily most accessible thing anybody can do. If you're physically capable, it's free. It's
free.
Low impact,
There's also, it's good for your bone density. It's good for your mood
Yeah.
enhancement. There's a lot of benefits. And I think that like walking, it's funny because when people ask me what I think the best exercise is, I say walking is the best exercise because of all the things that you just said and what I just said. I've never actually heard anyone say it's not considered an exercise. That was very surprising to me.
I know. I'm like, okay, let's look up exercise in the dictionary.
Yes, and you probably would see a person walking right there.
It's like, oh my gosh, it's like everybody walks. It's just something you should do. It's like, okay, you can go fast walking. What is hiking? What you're walking up a hill. So because you're calling it hiking, it's not walking. No, it's fucking walking.
You're walking.
Just, walking on an incline. So,
But by the way, most people actually, sadly, do not walk. They're stuck at a desk and they're maybe walking to their car or walking to the fridge, but they're not really, they're not actually taking out a substantial chunk of time to do anything. They're not taking 20 minutes and doing any form of exercise, walking being included, even if it's free. And even if it's, the easiest, path of least resistance. People don't do it. Just because it's easy and available doesn't make it something that people are actually taking advantage of. It's unfortunately true, right?
It is unfortunate. Oh yeah. It's like what we try to have people do every day. All right, get up, move. You got to move. That's the biggest part of your metabolism is your NEAT, which is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And if you're just sitting at a desk all day, like you're going to have a slower metabolism than someone that walks around and is busy, and you got to get up
And doing your things. Exactly. So you said you have a group. What kind of group do you guys, do you have like these inner circle groups too?
It's just my free Facebook group. There's
Oh,
about 30,000 people in it. It's called the No Bullshit Nutrition Made Simple.
and it's free.
Yep.
And you don't do any type of online. I'm sorry, I'm going to sneeze again. You don't
Oh,
do
no
any.
worries.
Sorry, you don't do any online coaching for people. Like,
No, I have a team of now 13 coaches, and we work with people all over the world.
oh, you do 13 coaches.
Yeah, 13. So it's just started with me in 2020. It was like me, and I was taking my own online clients. And then I started having a waiting list. I'm like, okay, I'm not able to help these people, and I don't know when I'm going to have free time because I had 40 clients, and I'm like trying to be a mom, a wife, and like start this business. And so I ended up hiring my first assistant coach in 2021, who's still with me. And then I actually got a business partner who was the owner at the gym that I started at. So
Wow.
he's now the COO of my business. So all I do right now is run my team with him. And my full job is making content and being in my community and running my team.
That's amazing. So you have, okay, so walk
Yeah.
me through. You have 13 trainers.
Yep.
Okay, and
13
so
trainers, a sales team, an executive assistant, Hunter, my COO, I call him. Yeah.
that's
Right now,
amazing.
it really is. It's a miracle, honestly, that I'm here.
I mean, well, because of the drinking, or just because of the fact that you're just that you're here in terms of the success that you've had, or all of it.
All of it. Yeah. All of it. Like, it's like I said, like one decision away from a totally different life. Like I wouldn't have this life if I didn't make that decision 9 years ago.
It's amazing. I mean, are you ever
Yeah.
tempted to go like to have a drink, or not at all? At all?
Not like I was in my early days. But I keep remembering of like what I felt like then and where I am right now. And it's like, why would I want to ruin everything that I've done?
Exactly.
Because I know it would for me. I just know.
And so
It's like,
that's, yeah, I mean, the fact that you have that kind of ability to see that
Yeah.
and then not be impulsive and act on it. Super. That's one of the hardest things, like for relapsing, right? Like how,
oh yeah.
and that's amazing. So tell me what you do with these coaches. Like, what's the plan? Like, what's the program? Like, people will DM you. Tell me, like, walk me through with the actual.
So they would go to my website, fill out an application, and from there they would get on a phone call with one of my transformation coaches, which is part of my sales team. And then from there, they would give them some homework to do to make sure that they're invested. They usually have them, send them pictures of their food or whatever they choose. Then they would have like a second call. And from there, they would get paired with the coach that would best suit them. And then they would go through our program. So it just really depends on their goals. Everything is individualized. They get individualized strength training if that's what they decide to do. We have like video chat apps that they chat back with the coaches. So it's like I don't know if you've heard of Marco Polo, where you can see somebody and you can talk back and forth, kind of like FaceTime
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah. I have heard
Yeah,
of it.
so we have that. That's pretty cool. We do like end of the week check-ins, monthly check-ins. We have cooking classes once a month. We also do like guest speakers. Like we have people come talk on Zoom about emotional eating, mindful eating, strength training, maintenance. We also, what else do we do? We have a team therapist also who does quarterly therapy sessions in a group fashion with our clients.
Wow. So altogether, how many clients do you have with all the 13 coaches?
Right now, I think we're close to 300.
Really?
Our coaches, I make sure that they're not like taking 100 clients at a time, because I want the clients to have good service. I mean, if you're trying to like serve 100 clients as one coach, that's so overwhelming. I can't even imagine. I know I was stressed out having 30 clients. So it's up to the coaches really, like when they feel capped out. Like if they're like, I can't take anymore, they won't get any more. It's really up to them how many they can take and give good service.
Is it majority women, or do you have some men in there too?
We do have some men. Yeah. But majority women in their 40s, 50s, 60s.
Do you touch upon hormones and premenopause, perimenopause, and menopause?
Oh, yeah.
Because then
we work with a lot of women with peri and menopause. Yeah. And a lot of my coaches are taking the Molly Galbraith Girls Gone Strong menopause course right now.
Oh, so I haven't heard of that one. I just had Mary Claire on my podcast. Have you heard the new menopause? No.
Did she just write? No.
She just wrote the book called The New Menopause, I think it's called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which one is that? I want to see what that is. Molly?
It is Molly Galbraith, Galbraith.
I thought maybe I did hear that actually. Girls Gone Strong. That yeah. I like that.
Girls Gone Strong, yeah.
That's a good name actually. Do you guys do fitness too, or is it just nutrition, or is it both? Like what is it? Yeah.
Yeah, strength training and nutrition. Yep.
So you give them their program, like today you're going to do this. Is it like
it's it depends really like on their goals. Like if they want to build muscle, if they just want something, to keep them active. If they have injuries, we have to work around that. So usually it goes month to month because they have monthly check-ins, and it depends on the coach. Maybe the coach might be like, you know what, I want you to keep this program for another 2 weeks. You weren't consistent with the first two. So until you're consistent with these ones, then we'll program you new ones. We're huge on consistency.
It's good.
Consistency
wins. Yeah. Over
exactly.
All
it's
the
like,
time.
okay, you want new workouts, but you did 2 of them. No.
Yeah.
why do you want new workouts? You didn't even do the ones you had.
Exactly. No, it's so true. I didn't even know you had that vast of a program. How much is the monthly fee for that?
It really depends. It's individual based off your goals. So, we have payment plans, we work with different people in that aspect, but it could be anywhere from between $500 and $600.
Okay. And you get the fitness and the nutrition, and you get like all that other accoutrements. That's great. I just learned something new about you. I figured you had a coaching program. I just wasn't sure how vast it was. Yeah. So that's amazing. Okay. Now walk us through a day in the life of you, Beth. What do you do? What time do you wake up?
Day in the life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I get up around 5:30.
Okay.
And I sit there and I scroll on the internet. I'll answer a lot of my DMs, and then I'll make myself some dark roast coffee.
Okay.
Get my son ready for school, make myself breakfast, make him breakfast, make his lunch, and then I'll head to the gym. The gym is like the first thing that I do after I drop my son off from school. And then all the meetings and all that shit starts after that.
Yeah, of course, right?
So, yeah, it's like the team meetings, the one-on-one meetings, the coach meetings, the podcasts. So it's really that content creation.
All that stuff, right? And then what time are you done? And are you a big fan of like all the other modalities like sauna, cold plunge, all the things?
No. I'm a basic bitch.
Yeah, and basic, by the way, works. Basic stuff actually works. People want all these other modalities and magic potions and pills, but at the end of the day, if you can't get the basics down, then it doesn't matter what the hell you're doing.
Exactly. I mean, you couldn't pay me enough to get in a cold fucking plunge.
Oh.
I mean, that sounds brutal. Have you done it yet?
Oh, wait, I'm staring at mine outside right now. I have all the things. That one thing, that freaking cold plunge, not my thing. I'm not. I grew up in Canada in -40, Winnipeg, Manitoba. There's no way I'm going to be cold on purpose unless I absolutely have to be. That's it.
Right.
That's it. That to me is like my kryptonite right there.
Yeah. Give me a sauna though. I'll be in that.
Yeah. Saunas are like
I love a hot sauna.
See, who doesn't? Like that's a whole different thing. That's just because it feels good. But the other stuff, no.
No.
It's not for me. Do people ask you about this? Do you get approached a lot now? Like that now social media is like your business. I actually just recommended you. I'll tell you afterwards for somebody to work with you.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Did you ask me a question?
Yes, I asked you like if I said, oh my God, hilarious. I said with social media, like, do you get, like, I don't see you pimping out a lot of brands. That's not really your jam, right?
Oh my God, the fucking links. It's
Yeah.
funny because, I got on there to talk about nutrition and really to help people. Didn't really know what this would amount to, right? And then, you start growing and you get these like, can I have the link for those glasses? Can I have the link for that shirt? Can I have the link for that necklace? And I'm like, no. Like, do you think I keep a running fucking tab in my notes section of every link that I have for everything that I get? I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not giving you fucking links. Like, you're swamping my DMs with asking me about links. You should be asking me about other stuff that has to do with nutrition. If you need a link for a calorie calculator, link for coaching, if you need a link for protein, I got that. But I don't have links to my fucking gear. I mean, I think sometimes someone asked me, where did I get this cowboy shirt that I got in LA at like Squaresville in 2000? And I'm like, there's no link for this. It's a pearl button snap 2080s, cowboy shirt. So it's funny.
That's what I love about you. You're so freaking real. I think I saw that. I think you got mad at someone actually because you're like, why do I need to give you an Amazon link for like, I think they asked you about something like, I don't know, maybe it was a shirt or glasses.
Yeah.
And you were like angry at them. You're like, leave me alone. My job here isn't to like give you links. I was hysterical on the floor because this is why though, because people assume now, this is the problem though, people assume that everyone's a walking advertisement, right? Like that's what happens. Like no one wears anything, talks about anything, says anything unless they're getting a check and paid for it. So that's what people's like automatic go-to is. So when someone's actually not doing that, I think it's actually quite jarring for people. They're like, oh wait, but it's true. It's like, that's like, why would you have why should you have to give a link to your necklace? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right? I'm like, I don't want you to have the same fucking necklace as me.
Yeah.
No. Copycat. Like, I'm like, screenshot it, find that shit on Google Lens.
Exactly. And,
it's 2024.
It's so true. And I guess your trademark is those glasses. Like, I actually have the same glasses as you, though. They're good. Are those Gooders? Do you wear Gooders, though?
No, I have Peepers, and these are from Amazon. I don't know the brand. And then there's another good one. Oh shit, I forgot the name of them, but I found them through like a Instagram ad.
Did you do that on purpose? Like always wear the glasses on every video just to have some kind of synergy with everything?
I just can't see close up.
Oh, so you're just you're like, I'm actually blind, Jennifer. That's why I'm wearing glasses.
Can't fucking read. Seriously, I can see far away. Like as soon as I'm like not near my phone, the glasses are off. But they're readers. Yeah.
I was like, I thought you were doing that more for that branding thing because like everything looks the same in every video. You're like, I'm actually just blind. Leave me the fuck alone. I'm blind. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Well, I love the look anyway. But is there anything else that we can talk about? I think I just really wanted just to say hello and tell you how much I love your stuff. And I love the work you put out there. I think it's so real. It's so relatable. No bullshit. We need more of you. We need another like 10 million of you on social media. We really do.
Appreciate that.
No, it's so true. That. And if people don't know, tell people where they can follow you if they don't know. And if you're living under a rock and you're into health and fitness, you got to know this lady. So go ahead, Beth.
You can find me at Beth Feraco Fitness on Instagram, TikTok. BethFerracoFitness.com is my website. I also have a podcast called Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, anywhere you can listen to a podcast. That's pretty much it.
First of all, I didn't even know until I saw your notes the other night that you had a podcast, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
What's your podcast on? Like, just let me guess. No bullshit health and fitness stuff?
Cutting the fitness bullshit. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. How often are you doing it?
Once a week. We release a new episode every Friday. We record every Wednesday.
Wow. Well, I'm going to listen to that. And I love you. So just keep up the good work.
Thanks, Jennifer. You call you Jennifer or Jen?
I don't care.
Okay.
Whatever you wanted to call me. Thank you.